girls, it's me, Miss Trabal, with another lesson for all of my second grade friends in St. Lucie County. I hope you guys are ready for some learning. So let's get started. Before we start, we're going to learn something new this week. So let's refresh just a little bit about what we did last week. We were learning about time, and you were telling time on a digital clock and an analog clock. And we left off learning how to tell time to the nearest 5 minutes, the hour, and the half hour. And when we ended our very last video, I suggested trying to create a clock. And so I'm going to show you here. I have two clocks that Malia created. One, she used this paper plate, and notice she did her numbers all the way around the clock, circling some important numbers to help her remember. Her 12 here, which represents 0 or o'clock, and her 3 to help her with the quarter after or 15 minutes after, the 6 representing half past or halfway around our clock or 30 minutes after the hour, and then our 9 representing 45 minutes after the hour or a quarter till the next hour. Notice she also went around the outside of the clock in increments of 5, because we said that when we're reading a clock, these numbers are great for telling the hour, but for the minutes, we then have to count them by 5s. So to help her remember that, she went around the clock with her 5s. And then the last thing we did was took a Post-it note and made the hour hand and the minute hand. And those stickies are great because now she can lift them up and move them around and be able to still tell the time multiple times on her clock. We also did a very basic clock here, which is just another paper plate. You could have also drawn this on paper and put the numbers around from 1 to 12. And then we figured we could just draw the hands when we talk about the time. So these are two options, and I'm sure you guys came up with all kinds of creative ideas to make your clocks. And if you didn't, it's okay. You still have plenty of time. Get a piece of paper, get a paper plate, make a clock. Don't forget also to make your schedule if you haven't done that already, because these are things that you can continue to practice and get better at and be stronger at telling time, and maybe even share that with your teacher. I'm sure they'd love to know how much you're practicing and learning time. So let's get started with our new goal today. Our new goal is identify and compute the value of coins. That's right, boys and girls, we're working with money. And Ms. Trabal has her little jar of money here today. Maybe you guys have a piggy bank in your room or a wallet, or maybe you don't have any coins right now, but you could take a piece of paper and a pencil and we can just draw the coins. So you have options. Don't feel like you have to have the coin in front of you. You can have something and we can draw it out, and I'll show you guys both ways so that we can practice, because remember, it's all about practicing so that it helps you learn how to count your money and learn. So first, I'm going to show you a penny. We're going to work with 3 coins today, guys: the penny, nickel, and dime. So a penny, notice it's a small coin and it's a copper color. It's almost like a brownish color. We call this copper. And I'm going to get closer so I can show you all. Working with money, show you the penny. Okay, so on the penny, if you notice in the front, has a picture of Abraham Lincoln here. And the back has a picture of a building. This is actually called the Lincoln Memorial. At the top, it says the United States of America, because this is U.S. money. And look down below, you'll see it says 1 cent, so that we know that this penny represents 1 cent. And that can be written in words, 1 cent, or with the 1 and the cent symbol. But this penny represents 1 cent. So we count our pennies by ones. So 1 penny would represent 1 cent. 2 pennies would represent 2 cents. 3 pennies would represent 3 cents, and we'd continue from there. The next coin I would love to show you is a nickel. Notice a nickel, oops, it's upside down. Our nickel is a little different. Our nickel is silver in color. And I will show you again. here's our nickel, and our nickel has another older president, Thomas Jefferson. And on the back, it has a picture of a building, which is actually, fun fact, a home that Thomas Jefferson built. And it says 5 cents here to remind us that our nickel is worth 5 cents. And that can be written out in words or with a symbol as well. Now, the last coin we want to talk about today is the dime. And notice the dime, and I showed it upside down again. The dime is smaller. And the dime is a very small coin, worth 10 cents. And I will show you our dime. Here we have our dime. And we see on the front, we have Roosevelt. And on the back, we have a picture of a torch and an olive branch. So we have a couple pictures, but notice at the bottom, we see 1 dime. So this is also helpful when we're looking at our money and identifying the values. And we know that this dime is worth 10 cents. And we can write that out with 10 and the word cents, or 10 and the cent symbol. So a dime is worth 10 cents. So we have our pennies, our nickels, and our dimes. Now, we remember our goal is not only to identify these or see them, but also to compute the values, so to be able to add them. So let's just practice a couple of these. Say I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mr. Ball has 5 pennies. I have 5 pennies in my hand. I want to know how much those pennies are worth. So if I don't have 5 pennies, that's okay. I'm going to draw them on our screen to help on our board. So I have 1 penny or 1 cent, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we have 5 pennies that represents 5 cents. We're going to use another marker so that can be a little bit darker going forward. 5 cents. Now, what about nickels? How about if I grab 2 nickels? Now I have 2 nickels in my hand. How much are those 2 nickels worth? So let's say I have 1 nickel, 2 nickels, 5, 10. So now I have 10 cents. Now let's try dimes. Do we remember how much a dime is worth? Did you say a dime is worth 10 cents? So a dime is worth 10 cents, and I'm going to grab 3 dimes. So I have 3 dimes in my hand, and I want to notice how much those are worth. So one of them is 10 cents, 2 is 10 cents, 3. And I'm going to count them, 10, 20, 30. So 3 dimes is 30 cents. So remember, I count my nickels, I count my pennies by 1s, my nickels by 5s, and my dimes by 10s. Let's try the problem. Ashley has 4 dimes and 2 nickels. 4 dimes and 2 nickels. Can we get that in our heads? Are you thinking? Think, think, think. 4 dimes and 2 nickels. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 dimes. I know my dimes are worth 10 cents. 2 nickels. I know my nickels are worth 5. How much money does Ashley have? Well, I could count this and see if I get my answer. I know 4 dimes would be 10, 20, 30, 40. And I have 2 nickels, so 45, 50. So Ashley has 50 cents. Let's try another one. Let's use a problem we already have. Parker has 6 dimes and 7 pennies. There's a question here, but before I get into that question, I'm gonna think in my head. Parker has 6 dimes, so I'm gonna take my money, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 pennies. So notice Mr. Ball has her dimes here, and I need 7 pennies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have my dimes and my pennies, and I'm going to draw that out also because that will help me in my counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, my 6 dimes and my 7 pennies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to count it out. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67. So Parker has 67 cents. And going back to our question was, how much money does Parker have? So he had 67 cents. All right, boys and girls. So I would love for you all to continue to practice counting money. And remember, you can draw out your coins or you can get your money out of your piggy bank and just kind of mess with it and see if you can identify the value, identify what coin it is, and count and add it up. I'll see you next time for another lesson. Bye.